Hey guys, thanks for joining us today. This is our first episode of What to Do Wednesdays, where I get my questions from you and you get the answers from me. So, our first question today, what do we have on deck today, Ashley?
Well, what we have is from Stephanie D from Facebook, and
Stephanie D, okay.
she
Hey, Steph.
she wants to know, how do you define health? What does health mean to you?
That's a great question. I think the dictionary definition of how do we define health is pretty much the absence of illness. The question is then, what is illness, what is sickness, and what is health, and is there anything past being healthy? In my mind, and traditionally, there was alteration in what was illness and what was sickness or disease. Originally, when you were diseased, it meant you had a lack of ease, that you had a lack of ease, that something was slowing you down, that wasn't moving as quickly as possible, you weren't as comfortable as possible. So you wake up in the morning, you stub your toe, what do you have? You have a disease. You're not able to move as quickly and easily as you possibly would beforehand. In my mind, once that disease gets to the point where it's affecting you, your livelihood, it affects the people around you, livelihood of your community, your loved ones, then it becomes an illness. Then it's actually something that is affecting your livelihood and the community around you. So the absence of those would then be what would we consider healthy. But then the question is, what is actually health? Health would be the absence of disease, but is there a buffer against health? And in my mind, that would be fitness. Because the fitter you are, the more you are able to do over a certain period of time, the more likelihood you're going to have before you start to lose those abilities. So, for instance, if you're able to run a 4 or 5 minute mile, the likelihood of you having a disease that stops you from being able to walk is going to be greatly more offset. You've hedged yourself. You basically have an insurance policy that because I have X amount of fitness, I'm buffered to when I become just generally healthy, and then that health goes away to a disease and then to an illness, that you're going to have a greater buffer that way. So, long answer to a quick definition of what exactly is health. Health is obviously the lack of disease or illness. Illness being a more severe consideration than disease is. But then I think there's more than just being health. I think there's a measure of fitness that comes beyond being just standardized health and being, hey, I'm not sick, but I can do more with my body. So that would be my answer to that one.
Awesome.
Great question. Thank you. What do we got next?
So the next question is from Richie C., also from Facebook.
Okay.
And he wants to know, how should I start my morning?
It's a great question. I like the guy's name, too. That's my dad's name. So, Rich,
funny.
thank you for your question. It's kind of ironic. That's cool. Wonder if it is my dad. I don't know. We'll have to look into that, see actually who that was. So, the question again, I'm sorry. How do I start my morning?
Yeah, how should I start my morning?
Well, obviously that's going to differentiate for everybody, but standard baselines for people, I think, in the morning. A lot of times we get up and we just hit the ground running, or we get up, and we pause and we hesitate from letting things start happening. I know myself in the past, I've gotten up and got out of bed and ran out the door and started my day, and usually find myself wearing out and breaking down very quickly in those times. And other times, myself included, get up and I get on my cell phone right away, and it's right into Facebook and social media, and then hours and hours and hours later, I'm like, oh, it's time to start my morning right now. So, best way I would suggest people to get up and start their morning is before you get out of bed, take a couple minutes and be mindful of yourself. Think about your body, think about your breath. Wake your body up a little bit. Gentle, light motions, shoulder shrugs, some hand rolling like that. Think about your cat or dog. Do you ever see them get off a couch or a bed without stretching before they start walking around? Most animals, if you watch as they get up, they do some kind of stretching routine. And that would be my next step, I would say. If you have to get up in the morning and use the facilities, use the restroom first, please do that. Obviously don't want to be doing that in the bed, right? But you want to, get up and then start actively making your day a little bit more prosperous. So, I usually start off with a little bit of stretching or body motion kind of stuff. Just kind of get the blood flow and get the joints opened up a little bit. From there, then I always do like a mindful practice. I kind of try to think about, what outcomes I'm looking for today. Not just a to-do list and things, but what actual outcomes am I trying to look to find fulfillment in my life, the achievements that I want to find, and what's going to give me pleasure. And not just like, oh, that made me happy for a few minutes, but at the end of my life, am I going to look back to the things I did today and be like, wow, I'm really glad I spent that time, which is so limited, to achieve those things. So mindfulness is always a great thing to start off with. And then, my trifecta in the day is usually a probiotic, a multivitamin, and a fish oil. I take the probiotic and the multivitamin I take the multivitamins in the day, the probiotic, the fish oil, and the evening time. So that wouldn't really be a start your day, but that's part of my daily to-dos. But for anybody waking up in the morning, I definitely say, before you get out of bed, just try to be mindful of what you're going to do for the day. Set yourself in a good mental place to be able to take care of the day and move forward with it. Then, some gentle, light activity. Always like to start my day off with a little bit of protein, because protein ends up having your body start working into the metabolic process of building more muscle mass and tissue, which burns fat and gives you more energy throughout the day. I try to stay away from high doses of carbs in the very beginning of the morning. While the sugar will spike you real quick and you get a good energy rush, it's also going to raise your insulin levels, which will put your body into a storage mechanism facility. So we don't want to really facilitate storage, because things that we store become fat. And that's not exactly going to be a good way of leading into health, and that leads into our last question. So, Rich, hope that answers your question, or Pops, if it was you, hope that answers your question too. And I think we have time for one more right now.
Oh,
So,
sure.
what else do we have here?
So the third question is from Instagram from Jeff B, and he wanted to know, what is the best advice you could give a person?
All right, Jeff B, thank you for your reaching out to us. Hope this answer suffices for you. What is the best advice I can give to a person? Actually kind of falls in suit, I guess, with what we were kind of just discussing for the last two. It really, mindfulness is really a great thing, because without your mind, it's like your computer. Without having a good computer, you're never going to get anything done, online or throughout your workday. Your mind, your outlook for the day is the way that you're pre-framing yourself, what your focus is going to be, what your intent is going to be, and how your emotions are going to play out. So definitely being mindful. Big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary V always talks about self-auditing, knowing what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and trying to stay in your path. Don't deviate off into things that aren't going to do you as much benefit as staying on your path and in your lane. So self-accountability is a huge, huge thing. Attitude of gratitude. That's a super, super important one. So many people today are stressed out. So many people today are overwhelmed. They're burnt out, and they're quite, quote unquote, miserable with life. And that's a really sad thing, because life is supposed to be enjoyed and loved and, full of these great experiences. And it's a proven fact that when your body is in a state of being grateful, when you're thinking about all the great things that have happened, you're appreciative, you're having, as Tony Robbins says, an attitude of gratitude. When you're in that kind of state, it is impossible for your body to even release the hormones and neurotransmitters that put you into those negative states. So if you're controlling your body, you're controlling your mind, you're controlling your breath, you're going to have a positive life. So attitude of gratitude is one of the key ways. If you're having a funky time, funky moment, give yourself a quick change around, be reflective of the positive things that you have for them, grateful for them, and all of a sudden you're in a much better mind state. I think third thing I would say to that would be, I don't know, first, second, third, I don't know what number we're on. The next thing I would say with that would be, maintaining a diet, a good, clean diet. There are so many chemicals, so many extra things in our food that our food is no longer food. In fact, most people eat food just to fill themselves up, not actually looking at food as being a fuel for their bodies. So obviously, listen to the old stories of what great grandma used to tell you, like, don't eat that, it's going to ruin your diet, don't eat your candy before dinner, and all those things. You should be eating your fruits and vegetables and have some meat on the side. Like, all those things really play in so true. Having a healthy, clean, or organic diet, definitely a key thing for vitality. And my mindset, people are looking to feed themselves and make their organism, be able to not be hungry. Maybe if they're a little bit more elegant in what they're doing, they're trying to have their body, get through the day as best they can. But really, I think if you're really trying to maximize your potential of being a human, and you're looking to use diet as one of those tools, which it absolutely has to be, you really got to look more than just how does my body function, or how does my organs function, or how the systems function. My digestive system's upset because I ate spicy food or had tomato sauce or whatever it is. But you really got to look at the cellular level. What nutrients are you giving to your cells to build your body up better? If you were building a house for yourself, you wouldn't want to have bricks made out of sand. If you're eating crappy, shitty food, you're eating bricks made of sand. You're giving yourself nothing to work with. No real structures to build those cells and those tissues up from. So really, I think mindfulness, attitude of gratitude, setting yourself a plan for success, maintaining your body as well as your mind and your breath, because it is a trifecta. Body, mind, and breath lead to health and lead to mindfulness. So that would be my answer for that one.
Awesome.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it for today, I think.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I will see you next week with our next round of What to Do Wednesdays. Please send me your information. Give me some questions. Hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Musical.ly. Make me a music video of your question. I'd love to see that. Anyway, you guys can get in touch with me. You know all my social media outlets. I'm looking forward to hear from your questions, and I'm going to give you the best answers I can. It's Ryder Champouillon, Point of Life Acupuncture. Be well. Live life fully.